people sitting on the bench very close to each other, just like normal times. And some of them were not even wearing the nose mask and the face mask. So the social distancing is a problem in most of the centers. But here in Abelia Kofa, they are observing the social distancing. A lot of people are here. Some people even go to the centers before 6 a.m. just to get themselves registered before they go to do their activities or do their chores. So a lot of people are here waiting. Here at the Global Evangelical Church, they have just started. The other police stations that we visited, they were now setting up the place.
What have you observed about the process? What sort of identification tends to be presented by those who are registering?
Well, for now, people are coming with their Ghana cards. Some are here with people to vouch for them. For now, I have not seen anyone with a passport. So that is what is happening. Most people are coming with the Ghana card, where some are also coming with families and friends to vouch for them.
Talk to me about the officials and how they are taking people through. How long does it typically take one person to complete the process?
Well, for now, they have just started. So we are waiting to see how many minutes they use to take the people through. But we got here for about 10 minutes. One person just registered. So I think the process is a little bit low here. I don't know whether if it's because of the machine. Since are working on the machine, I saw one a while ago who said he has worked on the machine. So it's taking about 5 to 6, maximum 10 minutes to get one person or to work on one person. And the person goes ready for exam.
Wonderful.
Some of them are also educating the residents, social distancing, and also wearing of the face mask to washing of hands. We see the little bucket where people are advised to wash their hands. The officials have the hand sanitizer to give to the people to clean their hands before they go. So that is what is happening. But the worry here is most of the people are not observing social distancing, and most of the
Thank you for that, Ivy. We'll be back with you as soon as practical for more. Let's Ivy, of course, is in K2 South, and particularly near Attafuah. Can you see the military at the location, at any of the locations you've been to? Did you see the military there?
Interestingly, we have mentioned the presence of the military at all the centers I've been to, all the 8 centers I've been to so far. We have not seen the military, we have not seen any security officers. There's got police along the way, but not at the registration center. But the presence of military, no, we have not seen any.
Very well, thank you very much. That's Ivy Setoji from K2 South. Let's go all the way up to the Upper West region. Here's Rafiq Salam. Good morning, Rafiq.
Good morning, Kojo.
How is it shaping up where you are?
I can tell you that in the Upper West region, the people woke up to the occasion very much prepared and registers. And so by 6 o'clock, many people were on the queue. And I can tell you that a place like Limairi Ahmadiyya Mosque, by 6 o'clock, I saw close to about a dozen of people who were already seated and waiting for the exercise to begin. I moved to other centers like Anglican from A, and then the one at Palace, and it was also same. But the electoral officers in most of the cases didn't turn up early on some of these things, but some of them they refused to speak to us off record. But the exercise currently, the few places that I have visited in the one municipality is currently ongoing and going on successfully.
Talk to me about the setup of the authorities, the Electoral Commission. How many how many stations are there? How many people can they register at a time?
They haven't given us the number of people that they are going to register at a time, but from the way from the way they have mount their equipment, they could be registering close to about 4 or 5 people at a time in some of the centers in the Wa municipality.
Right. How is social distancing looking in Wa?
The people themselves are really aware of some of these things, and also when I go to a place like Limangiri, for instance, already they have the people themselves. They brought their own chairs, and then also spaces. This particular community, for them, election is their heart. Somewhere they call it the Florida of Attafuah region, and so for them, they have taken election very. And so by 6 o'clock, I told you that over a dozen of people were at that particular place. So the people are respecting this social distance. And even in that particular community, they used to have their own medical backers and whatever before the Electoral Commission brought theirs. And so the issue of social distance and also adherence to some of these protocols is not something that they are really joking with.
Tell me about security arrangements. Do you see the presence of police, military, any security services?
The police are there in their numbers, and then also in some places we have 2 policemen, and also in some of the cases one police. When you're moving out of work, because currently as I speak to you now, I am currently in the Sisala East, and then also precisely at Wallenbele. And then also there is a polling station ahead of the Debosso Primary School around that area, and I can see that they are having a couple of policemen in that particular area.
Rafiq Salam, thank you so much for that update. We appreciate it very much. Let's go now to Bantama. Here's Kwesi Deborah. Kwesi, good morning. Hello, Kwesi.
Yes.
There you are.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Bantama, I'm assuming that they are underway. Have you had the opportunity to see what sort of documentation is being used primarily by citizens to register?
Yes, I've seen sheets. Only sheets that I've seen. I'm at the Bantama Pentecost area. It's primary sheets that they are using that way to register. So that's the only thing I'm seeing. When
you say sheets, you mean they are sort of using people to vouch for them, right?
Yes, absolutely. So that's what they come in. I've seen one also. I think I've seen about 2 of them who are having such problems, and they have to go to their house or call somebody to come and vouch for them. So that's what they are doing here.
Right. So you haven't really seen passports or Ghana cards?
No, not seen a passport. The Ghana card I've seen somebody holding, but he's not in yet. He's in the queue, but it's not his turn yet today.
Right.
It's only the Ghana card I'm seeing, but it's with them. But the things I've been seeing have been documents. It's only kind of sheets, as I told you earlier. That's what I'm seeing, and also some calling their people to come, and also some have to go home and bring their people. So that's what's happening there.
Right.
And that's a Bantama Pentecost. Initially, when I went to the MA Bantama, they have not started. I saw so many people there. They are coming barely around 6:30 there, trying to register. But they came and they were told that it's going to be on the 19th. It's not their turn. But they were wondering why they had such an arrangement and they weren't informed earlier. When I went to the assemblyman, he told me that it's now taking place for Bantama. It's at the north. That's the North Central area. That's where it's taking place. But for the main Bantama area, that's talking about the roundabout, the poor roundabout area, those schools, nothing of that sort is taking place.
This is interesting. So there is some sort of phased arrangement. Is that right?
Yeah, that's how it's going to be. There's kind of arrangement. So you haven't Bantama, so it's kind of a weekly kind of something. So then the north will be done this week, then it will go to the south and to the other areas. So that's how the arrangement is. But they were prepared that we are having such an arrangement and they've not been informed earlier. They were talking about the NCC, what are they doing? They were talking about the MP and everybody, what are they doing? So there's that information, that lack of information around, and that's what's making them very disturbed.
Talk to me about numbers.
Yes, the numbers I'm seeing here at Bantama, looking about 200 people here. That's also Bantama, that's the Pentecost. And also when you go inside, Bantama Pentecost, to some, the same exercise taking place there. And also I can see that it's also about 200. So the combination, we're talking about 400 there. That's for the Bantama, this area that, that's the North Central Road. And, when you talk about security also, it's quite, there's only one police woman I'm seeing here. I saw a military personnel around, but he was, as well, asking people to put on their nose mask. And in terms of sanitation, also, I'm seeing the Veronica bucket and also the soap around. And initially, when I came here, the social distancing was very bad. Only those who were seated, who were kind of, spaced out a bit. But for those who were standing, it was that bad. It was earlier. It was just this time that one of the officials came and spaced them out. So that's what's happening. Right. Okay, not seeing any disturbance here. Social distancing earlier was a bit of a problem, but now it's okay. And so we're seeing the numbers. They are quite massive enough. So we're going to see this, and I'm going to go to the other areas and see what's happening.
Right, I'm interested because you've said that for two of the places you've been to already at 8:30, you're seeing about 200 people. So I'm wondering, by your estimation, looking at the size of the place, if the numbers increase as the day goes on, might there be challenges with social distancing, or does it look like they've provided for such an eventuality?
There's a problem, and even where I'm even standing, I told you earlier that those who are seated is a bit spaced out. So I was thinking that it's going to be that way, but you see, as they started piling up, I'm seeing that even that the spacing has been narrowed a bit, and that's what I'm wondering.
They brought the seats closer together. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what's coming up. And so, because when I came, it was like 2 meters apart or something like that. So if I can, if my measurement is still on point. But when as time went on, you see that it's closing up. But I don't know, it's because of the numbers, I think. That's why the situation is like that.
Right.
So I'm thinking, and when the people interacting, it's just free. Like they are interacting, they are no smart, out of the way. I read, but they are interacting, and they are shouting, and some are a bit frustrated, and venting out their frustration
without face masks.
Yes, without a mask. Yeah, so that's a bit of a problem here.
Right.
And so, as you said, what I'm anticipating. Should the numbers go up, then we're expecting that the social distancing is going to be a problem. Well, the people, they are having their nose mask somewhere, and the things are closing up. So, Kojo, that's what's happening.
Right. Just a final thing before we take leave of you, Chrissy. What is the seating capacity? How many chairs do you estimate have been provided?
Yeah, so what I counted earlier when I came, that's about 50.
About 50, 50.
About 50, yes.
50, okay. All right. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you.
When you go inside the Pentecost church, we're having about 80 there. It's when the situation, when the social distancing became bad and the officials realized, that's when I saw some chairs in a taxi. That's what they brought here.
Right.
But that one is not even enough. So there still need some more.
Kwesi, thank you ever so much. Kwesi Deborah reporting from Bantama there. Let's go to Takrade. Here's Inathalia Kwanza, our correspondent there. Inathalia, good to speak to you. Good morning.
Kojo.
So where exactly are you?
I'm in Takrade. At the moment, I'm at All Saints Anglican, an electoral area where the registration is ongoing. I've been to 3 places from 7 a.m.
Okay, so talk to us. How is it looking? What are the numbers like?
The numbers are good. For instance, at Shell filling station 1 and 2, I could count a little over 200 people at each a registration center, and then there the social distancing protocol was the challenge over there. When I spoke to the RO there, he said he realized in the morning when they started at 7 it was a bit okay, but when the people saw that they were also busy attending to people, taking people through the registration process, that's when they decided to violate the social distancing protocol. When it comes to checking of their temperature, it was being observed, washing of hands and all that. The only challenge over there was the social distancing. But where I am at the moment, I could count about 60 chairs being placed there. So with the social distancing protocol being observed, so the people are being seated, all in their face masks, and then the process is smoothly ongoing here.
Okay, so tell us about the capacity of the EC. How many people are they able to register at a time? How many stations have they got set up?
Well, I'm not able to talk about the stations in the Western region for now, but they said a day they are supposed to register 100 people.
At the particular station that you are reporting from?
Yes, at the particular station, they are supposed to register 100 people a day.
Right. Can you see how many stations they've set up? As in, how many points they've set up at that particular registration location? How many points have they got? How many people can they serve at a time?
Kojo, I can count about 7 of them here.
Very well. And their target is 100 people?
A day, yes.
Very well. Natalia Kwanza there reporting from Takrady. And there's so much more. In fact, I wonder, can we get Ohiming Teria in Ejiso? Do we have Ohiming? Ohiming, good morning. It seems we've lost Ohiming Teria. All right. Well, Prof. Attafuah is here with us. Let's engage Prof. Attafuah for a moment. And we will keep bringing you updates from across the country. Prof, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kojo. Good to see you too.
Indeed. We appreciate your patience as well. Good morning to you. Right. Well, there's a lot to talk about. The Ghana card. It's been a process for quite a while, but I have a feeling I saw you making a number of notes actually while we were going around the country. You made some observations, right?
Yes, I did, Kojo. And let me, as a social mobilizer, as a person involved in mass registration exercises. I've done this in 2008 to 2009 at National Identification Authority, and I've been here since 2017 to date. I think I have a little bit of experience or some observations on how these things go. I should congratulate the Electoral Commission on the sterling, what I will describe as sterling performance for day one of an activity of this kind. If you take note of the comments made by your colleague from the Volta region, K2 South, Ivy.
Yes.
Ivy says most people, her worry is most people are not observing social distancing, and I'll come there. And I think that seems to run through a little bit in
a couple of other places.
But she also talks about not seeing the military at the registration center, and for the Volta region, I think that was an issue of concern. At least from this particular center, it calms nerves. She talks about Veronica buckets and hand sanitizers being available, and that's a minimum that the EC can do in this regard. She talks about there being lots of people, so there is public interest or enthusiasm or passion. She talks about the Ghana card being the document that most people at the center are coming with, but she observes that there are no passports yet, and some people are having to come with their families. If you go to Rafiq Salam in Wa, he also talks about people being seated. He says there's a deluge of people. He talks about the Nayeri Mosque there, and I remember that center. There's quite a lot of activity generally, a very passionate place. Most places he's visited, he says the exercise is ongoing and going on successfully. And he talks about social distancing being okay and that people had even brought their seats, and that security, he sees the police in their numbers. Finally, last but one, Bantama, that's where you have quite a bit of challenges because only the vouching form is what he talks about. He saw only one person with the Ghana card, and the exercise, people don't seem to have a sound appreciation of the phased out process, and so some people went to registration centers only to be turned out. So we have communication challenges there. And finally, and it talks about 50 chairs and people being seated, and where the people are standing, social distancing is not being observed. Where they are seated, it is being observed. And finally, with Natalia, you have social distancing being a bit of a challenge, but temperature checking, hand washing, hand sanitizers, all those things being observed. And the people are seated, and there are about 7 points. From all of this, what I deduce is that EC has put in arrangements that should assure better performance as the day goes on. I saw your anxiety about what will happen as the day goes on when there is more people coming in. But the start, the morning is always a challenge. People will get a knack of it as in terms of the handlers of the process, the registration officials. My expectation is that they will get better by tomorrow. And it's like wearing a new pair of shoes for the first time. Sometimes you have these challenges. There will be centers where everything goes hunky-dory, and there will be centers where you will experience significant challenges. But it is those places of challenges that, of course, also catch our attention, and we must deal with them. But I want to comment particularly on the situation in the Volta region, Ketu South, because most people, she reports, are bringing the Ghana card. That is the experience we found. My slight disappointment is the idea that social distancing is not being observed there, because when we were there, of course at that time there was no issue of social distancing, but because there was no COVID-19, but in the Volta region we had our best registration experience. The people were well comported, the elderly were very respected, and the queues were orderly, generally speaking. I'm hoping that as the days go by, these exercises will get better, and the EC registration officials will show greater professionalism in the management of the registration centers. Well, we're certainly keeping an eye on how this is unfolding. We're going to take a quick break. We're talking with Professor Ken Attafuah. He's our guest this morning, and he's accompanying us around the country while we check on how the EC is shaping up with the registration exercise. Maxwell Agbagba has an interesting update for us right after these.
What would you do if you have the choice to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs. Your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance Plan. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302-218-500 or 246-142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glyco Life, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Hey, Bra Kofi, your ceiling be smooth, bright and fine, Papa.
That's an understatement. It dey blink like 80 carats white gold. This be interface plasterboard ceilings. smooth, bright, and long-lasting. Everybody where they come here, they fill up. Where they direct them go Interface Limited for world-class quality.
If you're involved in new property development, renovation, or decoration, the right place for you is Interface Limited. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at www.interfacelimited.com.
DSTVS and the leagues are getting back. We say the big boys are back.
Sergio Aguero.
Yeah, crowd near the live sport. Papa Ebrel.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
DJ Dow Couch, you know, what your favorite start here. For one year, sporting leagues are getting Papa Pano in Naso. So DSTV, let me start here. Who support your money now? This is
the league we want to watch.
DSTV, live sports here.
Abna, why are you crying?
Why wouldn't I cry out? This has become unbearable. Everywhere I go, I'm treated like an outcast. At home, at work, at the hospital, even at the market. Is it a crime to have TB? Is it a crime to have HIV? It's better I die. Why?
No, Abna, you can't give up and die. Indeed, a new dawn has come for persons living with HIV and those suffering from TB and sexually transmitted infections. WAPCA, in collaboration with the Ghana AIDS Commission, is shedding light on our rights so we can enjoy equal rights as captured in the Ghana AIDS Commission Act, Act 938. Rights to quality health care, non-discrimination, equal work opportunities, and education. You may call WAPCAS on 030-224-1452 or 055-6233-663 to report any act of discrimination. WAPCAS.
Here for your rights.
WAPCAS and Act 938. Here for life. This advert is brought to you by WAPCAS with funding from the Global Fund.
Be happy. Accidents do happen. It could be a motor accident, a sudden heart attack, or even a stroke, or any other health emergency. The first steps you take are very critical. Should you be involved in or witness an accident, call 112 for the fastest ambulance response. With over 300 well-equipped ambulances all over Ghana, you are assured of the fastest response to your emergency call. Call 112 during critical health emergencies and save your life and that of your family and loved ones. 112, help will come. 112, we are safe. Avoid prank calls as they can lead to loss of life of persons in actual need of help. Be a responsible citizen.
Joy Business Masterclass presents the Entrepreneurial Rebound, a Joy Business Sustainability webinar. This is an entrepreneurship dialogue which seeks to help alleviate the burden on entrepreneurs by discussing ways through which their businesses can survive the coronavirus pandemic. It's happening on the 1st of July 2020 from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. on your superstation Joy997 FM and also live on Facebook via the Joy Business and Joy997 FM Facebook pages. Zoom meeting details will be communicated soon. If you're into any business or preparing to start one, then you can't miss out on this. Hashtag JB Masterclass.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best on Joy 99.7 FM.
Boy with one of my favorites of his, and he calls this one Collateral Damage. All right then, so it's 8:55. Our guest is Professor Ken Attafuah. We're talking about the Ghana card. We're talking about the registration exercise that's going on across the country. You've heard his views on that, and he has more. We'll be talking to him in just a moment. First of all, today's agenda is brought to you by Societe Generale, SG Ghana, the future is you, and Malatu anti-malaria drug from Ernest Chemist, providing quality and affordable medicine. So your home and household possessions mean the world to you. We know this, and of course we know you want to live free without worrying about what could go wrong, and that is why Hollard Insurance brings you Hollard Chat Insure via WhatsApp 24/7 with your virtual insurer Araba Hollard. Now, as a homeowner or renter, you can sign up for Hollard's home or home contents insurance right on WhatsApp chat with Araba Hollard. Save Araba's number. It's 0242 426 412. Put it in your phone right now and find her on WhatsApp and say hi. She will help you sign up, renew, purchase, and even make claims. No need to talk to anyone else. Security against burglary, fire, allied perils. Hollard has got you covered. Secure your home and home contents today with Hollard Chat Insure and sleep well. WhatsApp Araba on 0242 426 412. Right, now in a moment we're going to hear from Maxwell Agbagba. He's in Ododo, and it's getting fascinating there. COVID-19, by the way, has changed the world, but despite the challenges, there are still people getting things done. The spirit of Africanacity is still alive in Ghana. Healthcare workers on the front line are keeping us safe. Many other essential service personnel are still doing their jobs to keep us all going. And you're still getting things done across Ghana and Africa, still working, teaching, doing it all, and still using your ingenuity, originality, and creativity to make a difference in your little corner. Thank you to everyone still getting things done. Your Africanacity inspires us and inspires ABSA. Visit absa.com.gh. Okay then, let's get back to it. Now, Maxwell Agbagba has been paying attention to things in Ododo. He joins us on the line now. Maxwell, good morning. Hello, Maxwell. Right, it would appear we don't have Maxwell Agbagba on the line, but we'll get him for you as soon as possible. Prof. Attafuah is here with us. Hang on, we have Maxwell. Hello, Maxwell. No, we don't. Okay. Hello, Maxwell. There you are. Hello, Maxwell.
Yeah, hello, Kojo.
So what's happening at Ododo?
Yeah, Kojo, I'm at one of the registration centers here, just about 50 meters away from the Jamestown Lighthouse. This registration center is called the City Engineers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Kojo, registration is supposed to have started. We're supposed to start at exactly 7 a.m., but that is not the case right now. What we have now is some potential registrants who've come here. They're currently sitting outside, waiting patiently, to go inside when the registration exercise begins. The registration exercise has not started yet, and the information that I'm taking from some persons here on the ground, some concerned youth in the community, is that one of the registration centers, which is a Sacred Heart Senior High Technical School, the registration officials have not set up their machines there. So what it means is that the registration is not happening there. And these concerned youth are raising concerns that it is an attempt by the registration officials to disenfranchise residents who live around that registration center. But if you come here to the city engineers 1, 2, and 3, scores of people are gathered here. And Kojo, as it stands right now, social distancing has been thrown out of the window. Yes, there's nothing like the social distancing protocol. Some of the persons that I've seen here, quite a number of them are not wearing their masks at all, and we are sitting very, very close. So some of the concerns of a resident I spoke to is that it doesn't really augur well to check and make sure these people adhere to the social distancing protocol and respect all the health protocol before they get access to the precincts of the registration center. But while they are outside here, it is possible for them to pick up infection. And as you can hear in the background, so as you can hear in the background, there's some confusion. Some of the residents here are quite aggrieved that have been sitting here for a very long time and the registration exercise has not started. Some of them tell me that they came here as early as 3 o'clock a.m. and quite a number of them are getting accused. I have a 75-year-old man here who's been waiting here for hours. Sir, welcome to join us. Thank you. Sir, you have been waiting here for how many hours now?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. And you told me that you're 75 years old. Have the registration officials explained to you what's causing the delay?
They were nothing at all. It's better for them to come out and talk to us, but they don't. You see, and we are still waiting. Kind of life is that? It's better for them to come and tell us what to do. Either to go and come tomorrow or this afternoon or tomorrow. Then we shall please. But nothing. We are still waiting. And there's no chance for us to sit on it. In those days, when we are going to register, they used to put chairs down. The electoral commission will hire chairs for benches and will sit on it. You reach your turn, they register you. But today, nothing. We still stand on our feet. Why?
What are you've observed, your other residents, the people who live in Jamestown, you've seen them here. Quite a number of them are not in mask. And social distancing looks like it's not working at all here in this community.
It is working. Most of them, I for one, that's my own. And most of them have put their how do you call it? Their cover in their backs, in their pockets.
But why would they do that?
We waited here for quite a long time, and you know this thing you're talking about. You can't wear it for about 2-3 hours. Yeah? Standing in the sun. Yeah? So it's better if you talk to them to come and explain to us the reason why we are still in the sun waiting for them.
And you agree with me that even if they wear a mask and they are closed, that would be a bit okay. But some of them are keeping their mask in their pocket, as you're saying, and they are still closed.
They are frustrated now.
They are frustrated, yes. What's the name?
Yes, I'm from Sawan. I came right from Sawan. I left till 5 o'clock. And from 4:30, I just come here. Nothing is happening.
And you live here in this community?
Yes, I'm going, but I have a family at Sawan. So I came from Sawan right away.
Okay. Your friend is 75. If I'm asked, Daddy, how old are you? You are 65. And how long have you been waiting?
Oh, it was 6 a.m. Around 6 a.m. and nothing is going on. Too bad. Don't worry about the 6 part because they are frustrated. Anything can happen to them.
Yeah, but they can pick up an infection from you.
Yes, it's a photo that you understand. When they came, they said, "Oh, you are sorry, this, but they didn't say anything, just running. Just too bad." Even they have to, very sorry, please put on a face mask. Nicely, politely. But they bullshit and they went inside.
Sorry for using a BS. Sorry for using the BS. But I can understand. I can understand your frustration.
I'm fucking annoyed.
No, sorry. Sorry you used the F word. I'm so sorry. But I understand your frustration. I understand your frustration. But you're live on radio.
I'm hungry.
Yes, I know.
Yes, I'm hungry.
Your frustration. Let's not use the BS and the F word.
Yeah.
So when are you coming here to register? But let me find out from you. You seen that? You seen what is going on?
Yeah.
No social distance.
No distance. Yes, because they made a choice that when they frustrated, when the issue came, didn't say anything, they went inside. So don't blame them. Though it's very bad, but they have to educate. Oh, we are sorry. Please put on your mask. Please give us a head. But it's nice. But they say anything.
Yeah. So what are you coming with? PCI 126, Ghana card, passport, or you would have to get 2 guarantors to do this for you.
I have a passport.
You have your passport.
I was in the country when they did it. So I've come from my passport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Daddy, what are you using for the registration? You Ghana card, passport, or you coming with 2 guarantors?
I think with this. I don't know how to call it. Whether ECOWAS or Ghana card, because both of them are written on it. Am I lying? Yeah. So I don't know how to call it, whether it's Ghana card or ECOWAS card. Had it been a birth certificate, it would have been better. I would be happy because even my birth certificate is older than you, and it is there.
Yes, obviously you're 75, so obviously your birth certificate is older than me.
Yeah. That is what I'm saying. I said I don't know how to call it.
whether Ghana card or how do you call it, Gold Coast card or I don't know. So they said I should bring it, and I've brought it. I'm coming to register. Okay. Thanks so much for speaking to me. Hopefully, we'll get into an registration process to start so you can take part, register and exercise your civic duty in December. Thank you. Now let me get closer. Let me walk and get closer to the gate. There's a woman who's been waiting here. I can see she has swollen legs and she's walking with the help of an aide. Let me find out from her how long she's been waiting here. Wow. What's your name?
My name is Auntie Mary.
You can see you have some hurt on your legs. On your leg, you have an issue?
Yes.
What's the issue?
I had an operation on 26 September. I have an accident.
Okay.
That's why you see my leg. I'm sick.
But this is not deter you. This did not deter you to come and register. You've been waiting here for how many hours?
About 4 hours now.
4 hours. And have the registration official explained to you what is causing the delay?
No, they said they're having a meeting. After the meeting, they will start. So I'm waiting.
Okay. So why are you so determined? And someone would ask in the midst of this pandemic, the expectation would be that you'd be sleeping at home, but you're so determined, to take part in this exercise. Any reason we should?
Yeah, I have to because I'm a Ghanaian. And secondly, we know what is going on. So we have to come and register. For me, I have to register to vote for Nana to continue his 4 years journey. That's why I'm here.
That's why you're here?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Even if the rain is coming, I'll be on the rain team. Register and vote for Nana.
Wow, that's interesting. But whilst you're taking all of that risk, you can see the risk here. Whilst you're determined to do that, you can see the risk here. No social distancing. Some of your friends are not wearing masks and they are sitting very close. Are you not concerned about it?
It's up to them because they know there's sickness in the air. So the nurse advised everybody should wear masks and social distancing. But they're not doing it. And now everybody's life is in their own hands. So if how you make it, it's your forever, my friend. That's why I'm sitting aside with my nose mask. I'm waiting for them to start. I'll go and make my own and go back home.
And you can be adhering to all the health protocols. But if they pick up an infection, touch wood. If you come into contact with any of them who has an infection, that can also be a bit of a problem. So maybe you would want to advise them to,
Who advise them? Me or you advise them?
The two of us. Or maybe.
Who advise them? Because if you go and talk to them, they will report me. Then I will leave them. I'm not the only one to advise them. They have been seeing the advert on the telly, everything. So it's no need for you to go advise them. They have been speaking down, fancy, everywhere. Every type agent is speaking. Every language on the telly. And that if you can't speak English, they speak down. So I cannot go and tell them they should wear their face mask. They know they have to do it, and they are not doing it. It's their own palaver.
Let me try and see if I can advise them to wear their nose mask. Let me get closer to some of the residents who are here waiting patiently to take part in the registration exercise. Most of them are not in their mask. They're sitting outside here waiting to get inside. Face mask, your whole face mask.
1 year,
So I'm just asking them why they are not wearing their face mask. One of the women who I'm speaking to here is telling me that they do not have money to buy the face mask. See, that no face mask, it's dangerous. Electoral Commission be at face mask. Kojo, what she's telling me is that they came here with expectations that the registration officials will provide them with face masks. But you're supposed to come here with your own face mask. Branch and a call face mask for that. Okay, well, she's saying that she was expecting that they would provide the face mask for them here, and she does not have money to buy the face mask. So, really, Kojo, that is the challenge here. Quite a number of people, I can count about 50 of them not wearing their face masks, no social distancing, been adhered to here. The registration itself has not started.
Right. Any sign of the EC officials at all?
Yes. The EC officials, the vehicle pulled up here sometime around 7:54, and they brought the registration materials. But as I mentioned earlier, they are in a meeting. You're told they're currently in a meeting with some active youth of the community who are raising concerns that one of the registration centers currently is not being used, and they think that it's an attempt by the registration officials to disenfranchise the residents who live around that polling station. Now, because I'm sure, in 2012, sometime in April 2012, we know the history of the DOTO. In 2012, we saw what happened when some persons were prevented from taking part in the exercise because they did not, speak God. Some of the security personnel that I've been speaking to here are saying that they are very concerned about the situation and they are alert and they do not want what happened in 2012 where some youth went on rampage preventing people from taking part in the exercise to happen again. They don't want that incident, to recur. So they are on alert and they are making sure that they provide the civil environment for the registration to take place.
Thank you, Maxwell, and please keep on that. Stay distant from as distant as you must from everyone, and please keep an eye on it for us. We'll come back to you when we. That's Maxwell Agbakwa, reporting from one of the registration centers just a few meters away from the lighthouse in Jamestown, Ududu constituency. Prophet Attafuah is our guest in the studio. And he's been going around the country with us and assessing the efforts of the EC, conducting an exercise that he and his team have had to go through and have been going through for quite some time now. Prof, it doesn't sound good at Ududu. Seems it's out of control.
No, it doesn't sound good. It's disappointing that the situation is as it is. The part that concerns me the most is where the gentleman was talking about there being no explanation. That's what is most worrisome. Of course, also worrisome, equally worrisome is the fact that people are not wearing face masks and are not observing social distancing. We need to be blunt about our nature as a people, Kojo. I think that if we're not careful, we will sink gradually into the age of personal irresponsibility. We are not in normal times, we all agree, and it means that we all must take personal responsibility for our well-being, individual and collective. And when an individual says that, well, I am not wearing a face mask because I don't have money to buy a face mask, that may very well be true, but I think that there is also a point where personal care demands that you do something about that situation if you are going to put yourself out there in a crowd situation in order to exercise your civic responsibility. The expectation that the EC officials would provide face masks means that the individual has accepted the risk of coming from home to the registration center without a face mask, a risk to himself or herself, and also as it were, the checking of responsibility and the risk of contracting the disease. So that's worrisome. I think that the idea that there was no apology from the EC staff, we have a responsibility as managers of state systems all around to do that. I don't know that maybe an apology was rendered. Maybe this person didn't hear. Maybe there was too much noise. But I think that the kind of training that we give to our staff, and I'm talking NIA, and I would imagine that the same would be true of the Electoral Commission. And some of the people who have worked for NIA in the past have been people who have worked for the Electoral Commission. Courtesy to the public that we serve is one of the most basic ingredients of public service, customer service that we train them on. And so where that doesn't happen, I don't know. You and I were not there, as the Vice President said. But I think it's a situation that needs to be attended to in order to abate the rising anger. The language the gentleman was using was most inappropriate. Perhaps it's an index of the frustration the pent-up frustration that he personally feels. There was also the question of no chairs and people standing in the sun. At registration centers, especially in the COVID era, the arrangement generally is to manage it such that people do not mass up. And you cannot have enough chairs for people. And you remember that Rafiq Salam said that people had some, in WA, some people had brought their own chairs early in the morning. It is difficult. You rent plastic chairs and benches for use at registration centers, and often, not always, but quite often, they get damaged. People also take them away sometimes. Even the wooden benches, the long ones, they get destroyed. And then, as we are going around NIA, as we are going around doing mop-up, one of the concerns we are getting from landlords who were kind to us earlier, in months earlier, who are now reluctant because chairs were damaged or their property was, and that they wrote to us, and a lady wrote to me last week and saying that, well, she had brought the situation to our attention and nothing had been done about it. I didn't know. We are taking steps to address that. But there are so many irritants and so many points of frustration and difficulties that attend at registration centers, and it is one of those places where public patience is most severely tested. And I would urge prospective applicants to take a higher level of personal responsibility for their protection. When I got to the office yesterday, there were lots of people at the NIA head office, some people who did not go to their districts to collect the cards when we were doing the card issuance blitz. We extended the exercise, people still did not go. And now, following the Supreme Court decision that Ghana card and passport will be the only acceptable documentation, except for the vouching process, we have an avalanche of people coming to the headquarters where their cards are not. Their cards are at the districts, the registration centers in their communities where they did not go. Now, a lot of them have trooped to the NIA head office and are demanding their cards. Meanwhile, the cards are now being retrieved in some cases from the districts, from the registration centers to the districts, and then from the districts to the head office, as the case may be.
Prof, how are you managing that? I mean, I'm curious because clearly there is a need for information here. How are you managing that? Are you planning on some sort of public relations exercise to inform people of what to do to retrieve their cards? Because you do have a number of Ghanaians in that situation, don't you?
Yes, I'll answer that. Let me just finish the point. That what I met yesterday was a lot of people shirking personal responsibility. And that is my worry. We live in the age of COVID. But if we also sink into the age of irresponsibility, personal irresponsibility, then we are doomed. So, yes, you want to get your card, but you must also protect yourself. The person standing next to you, or the person next to whom you are standing, you don't know where they've come from. You have no way of knowing what they've been exposed to. You have to have a defensible personal space around you. That's what we call social distancing. If you were to stretch both arms, either way, in either direction, they should not touch another person. And you should position yourself away from a person. That's simple. And you should wear a mask. Veronica buckets are provided. Hand sanitizers are there. Somebody asked me, I want hand sanitizer in this space where the person has not been invited, but has invited himself, right? And yet at the entrance is there. And you have security personnel, and yet some people will disregard them or try to evade them, and especially when you have applicants in their numbers. So that's something that I'm simply saying we ought to ramp up our sense of personal responsibility. Public trust is key. It's the single most important ingredient for corporate success. And it is imperative that those of us who are serving the public also do our best to meet that public trust quotient, that we strengthen it. And I know that the EC will do that. I am having challenges with that. Yesterday when I got into the foyer, there were people complaining to me about the conduct of my staff, in the way that they are talking to them, or in the way they perceive them to be engaging in preferential treatment of some people and giving false protocols and all that sort of thing. These are matters that affect public credibility in how public institutions function, and it's something that I know my institution has to grapple with constantly.
Right.
Back to your question, how are we getting cards to people? Kojo, at the end of at the time we stopped the mass registration exercise in the eastern region, we had quite a backlog of cards to be printed. And then we also had a backlog of cards that had been printed but had not been issued. So it became important to use the period of the COVID lockdown to do the printing and to put in arrangements to ensure that the cards were issued. So the cards were printed, and on the 10th of June, we embarked on a nationwide card issuance blitz. We held a press conference, we announced it in all the communities across this country. We made announcements. We used your good facilities, the media, across the country to help us. We had 6,523 registration centers opened. So wherever a person registered, they could go and pick up their card. Now, there were a few centers where the registration center albums were late in arriving, one error or another, or where the cards themselves, instead of going to, let's say, a Sokori Mampong, ends up at a Krupong Mampong, that sort of thing. Going to wrong places because of somebody's carelessness or whatever. The thing had been properly batched, but it had been sent to the wrong place.
Right.
Now, in all of these instances, we then made targeted extensions. So, for example, in Asokori Mampong, where Honorable Muntaka Mohammed's constituency is, Kumasi, where Aswase and
yes.
So we extended the exercise in a community like that in order that the people will be properly served. And there was one particular center out of the 40-something centers there, I think 46 or so, where the cards were late. Even at the time the extension was ending, that was when that had been found. We extended it there, and we made sure we collaborated with the assemblyman, with the honorable member of parliament, Muntaka Mohammed, and the local Radio Zara. We collaborated with them, did publicity in order to encourage people to go get their cards. I've been around. My colleagues have been around, operations people, the monitors across the country during the exercise. What we found, twofold concerns. One, in the case of Ashanti region, for example, when we were doing the registration in Ashanti, it was Christmas season. So a lot of people had gone from Accra or wherever they were living to their hometowns in Ashanti region and had gone to register, taking advantage of low numbers there. Now they are in Accra, and the cards have been sent to the communities where you registered, and they could not go there. I had a situation, a report from Winneba, where it's a university town, largely an academic city. Cape Coast, same. So lots of students, Koforidua, lots of students who registered in, and teachers, university teachers and stuff, who registered in Cape Coast and Koforidua and these cities, whenever they could not get their cards. And they are in their communities. Now, for those who will be there by the time the Electoral Commission gets to their community, the issuance will be done there, because will be there. There's a timetable that we have published about a mop-up exercise. As I speak with you, a mop-up of the mass registration exercise is underway in the Upper West and Upper East regions in order to shore up the numbers, because we realized that registration figures were low. Now, all across the country, we're going to do mass registration mop-up. For most of those places, I think excluding Bono, Attafuah and Bono East, and then Greater Accra and Ashanti, just about 2 or 3 days. For all the other regions, EC will be there, or NIA will be there, while EC registration is also there. So people can pick up their cars and do the needful.
How many do you estimate are yet to be collected? How many cards?
The cards that are yet to be collected at this point, I've been trying to get for you the exact figure. I think by the time we leave here, I'll get it for you.
No problem.
We have enrolled 11.5 million people altogether. Let me just give me 1 minute.
Sure.
And out of the 11.5 million people. Oh dear, 1 second.
That's all right. Take your time.
Let me just give me a second.
Sure. I think I can explain the reason why this is important, because depending on how many people are still yet to collect their cards, we can start asking a few questions of whether there can be a plan B for these people. If the data exists, if their biometric data exists and the information exists, is there some way that the Electoral Commission can tap into that as a verification method for those who are yet to collect their card? Would you say it is the majority that are yet to collect their card?
No. Oh,
a very small minority.
Yes, a small minority. We have enrolled 11,575,626 Ghanaians. We have printed the cards of 11,320,285, and we have issued over 10 million. The exact figure, there is issuance online, which is the one where you get it biometrically, and that one is 7,572,630. And then there is the issuance that has just gone on with the Blitz, which was manual through the use of the registration center albums, and that one has enabled us to issue over 3 million cards. Right. So we have over 10 million, but by the time I leave the studio, I'll get you the exact number of total cards issued.
Right.
Now, of the total cards issued, over 94% are persons who are aged 18 years and above as at today.
Right.
So a lot of the people who have registered have the opportunity to get their cards. Some could not get them because at the time we went to their communities where they registered, they had moved on, they had traveled, they were in hospital or whatever the reason, and a few have passed on. But by and large, most people have collected their cards. And mop-up registration exercise is also underway to ensure that those who could not register will have the opportunity.
So I asked the question about whether it's possible for the EC, in the absence of a Ghana card, as long as the person has registered with you and is awaiting their card, can the EC access or use your database as a reference point to check if a person indeed standing before them has a Ghana card and if their biometric data matches?
Yes, that is theoretically speaking, yes. We have a database. Even if you don't hold the card, the physical card, if you were to administer your finger on a reader, your biometrics and your alphanumeric data, your biographical data would all pop up.
Okay.
And we could easily confirm that you are the person who is standing there and claiming to be who you are.
Yeah.
So that's the theory, and that database exists. And the capacity to do that transfer is also available. The technical capacity also exists. The fact of the matter is that is not the arrangement that we have in this country at the moment. Kojo, we are in difficult and delicate political times. It is conceivable that at a registration center where you are not holding the physical card as the manifest evidence of you having been registered, that there can be needless or avoidable controversies, especially where political tensions are heightened. So I think that the decision that belongs to the EC exclusively as an independent constitutional body to make, it appears to me that the decision of the EC is that individuals must present the physical Ghana card. Or a passport, and that and which is what has been carried in CI 126, and in the absence of that they be vouched for by two relatives who have registered and been issued with the Ghana card, or when they fill the registration.
How much does it cost to get a Ghana card?
Free.
It's free. Very good.
It costs zero. It costs nothing on first issuance. When you go and present yourself at NI Registration Center, free.
Right.
But if you lose the card and you go for a replacement, then there is a fee. And then after 10 years, the card is valid for 10 years.
10 years.
After the expiration, you go for a renewal, there is a fee. But today, Joy FM can write to the NIA through the Executive Secretary and request that we come and do institutional registration for you, and that is at a fee of 100 cedis per person.
Okay.
You, Kojo, can invite us to your home as long as the household or the persons you gather at home are more than 5. We can come to your home and register you at a fee. There is also...
Is it also 100 cedis per person?
And that's also 100 cedis per person. And then in terms of both, the distance we cover, the logistics of it, you pick it up.
Right.
Now, so Kokomlemle to NI head office, that won't be a lot of money, I imagine. But if you want us to come to your home at your villa somewhere in the hills,
from your lips to God's ears. Amen.
Amen. So that's one. Then there is also premium registration, which is available. We've set up a center, let's say Movenpick or Golden Tulip or wherever. You can go and register at a fee of 250 cedis, and so there are options. But all that we have been doing in the open at the mass registration centers, those are all 100% free of cost.
Free of charge. All right, I want to open the phone lines. Let's see if we can take a few questions from our audience. 0302-216-541 and 0244-340-437. Please call us. Let's talk. Let's ask Prof. Attafuah any questions that we have on our minds. Now, Prof, I noticed that you were explaining how, in spite of all the announcements and the adverts and things that you've placed out there, it seems there are still people who are not quite sure what to do about picking up their cards. I'm also wondering about those who are yet to even go through the process to begin with for a Ghana card. Right now, you've given us a few options, like you can pay and have someone come to your office or your house. How about somebody who just wants to walk up to the NIA and get a card? Can they do that? Can they come to your office?
No. We would be inundated. It's a big building, but it was not built to accommodate that kind of situation. Do you
mind if we take a call so that they don't wait too long on the line? Afi is calling us from Teshi. Afi, good morning.
Good morning, Kojo. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for calling us, Afi.
Please, I would like you to ask Professor Attafuah. I overheard him saying that yesterday there were a lot of crowd in his headquarters because the people couldn't pick their cards. And I have a problem with that statement. Because a year ago, I am a parent in Ghana International School. A year ago, they came into the school and I went through the process. They told us that they will be back in 8 days for us to come for our cards. We waited, they never came. So school reopened, they never came. It is just a week ago that I had a call from a gentleman who sounds so impatient that I should come right now and come and take my card. So I told him that I was not well. I couldn't come. When I tried to engage him that, okay, if I'm able to come, where do I come for it? He told me that then I could come to the headquarters. So if Professor Attafuah sees me in his headquarters, he cannot say that I am irresponsible. As I talk to you now, I registered with my husband. He even registered a week earlier. He has not received any card till now. This is a year ago when GS went on summer break.
Okay, well, I think I get exactly your frustration there. We're going to get you an answer from Prof. Attafuah. Thank you so much for calling us. Let's speak to Amy in La Paz.
Hello.
Amy, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very well, thanks.
Wonderful. Amy, what's on your mind?
Yeah.
Hello, are you there? Seems we've lost Amy from La Paz. Amy, call us back if you can, okay? And here's a question. Somebody just sent me this. He says, good morning, Kojo. Please ask why the premium registration is so expensive. 250 Ghana cedis when you have had to drive to a center. We'll get you an answer to that as well. But you can call us 0302-216-541 and 0244-340-437. Ben is in Adenta. Ben, good morning.
Good morning, Kojo. How are you?
Well, thank you so much for calling us.
All right, thank you. I wanted to find out from the prof concerning the release of our cards and how they are going to fast track in around Oyarifa. Now, I registered in Oyarifa in 2018 December together with my wife. As I speak to you today, I have not received a card. In fact, she at the point received her card. Recently, when they came to distribute the cards again, we found her card, a second card for her. Meanwhile, I, up until this time, have not received my card. When they checked, it shows printed. Printed. My name is in the register. My details are in the register. And yet, the card have not been produced. Almost to 2008 to date. How do you register for the voter register? I don't have a passport.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll get you an answer. Let's speak to Alberta in Ningo. Alberta, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
I'm very well. It's good to hear from you, Alberta.
Return good. Please, I want to ask Prof that on my card, I'm a female, but unfortunately, they wrote male. So I want to ask, if I'm going to use it to register, will I be facing any challenge? And should it happen that there are challenges, how do I go about it?
Please repeat the beginning of that, okay? The beginning of your question.
Instead of they writing female, they wrote male.
Ah, okay. All right, and you want to know if that will cause you problems when you go to register. Okay,
yes,
good. We'll get you an answer to that. Thank you. Stanley is in Mampubi. Hi, Stanley. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, you have something on your mind, don't you?
Yeah, just a question.
Sure.
My daughter registered for the Ghana card, and name on it was spelled wrongly. How can we do that changes?
Okay, thank you for that question. Auku is in North Kaneshi. Hi, Auku.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. It's good to hear from you. Your question?
My question is, when is the MOPA for Greater Accra going to begin, and if it has started, where is it? Secondly, is this Ghana card, is it different from that which when President Kufuor was president, the one which did that we never had a card? How different is that? Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I guess we have a few to get on with. Let's maybe take one or two more. Kofi online. Hi, Kofi.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you, my brother.
I didn't came in early, but may I know if I couldn't register at the time that they came to my community, I was not around. And up to now, I have not been able to do that. How do I get a card?
Very well, very well. I'm sure there are many others who would like an answer to that question as well. Mauli is in Mucho. Mauli! Morning.
Yes, sir.
How's Mucho this morning?
Good morning. You see, at the time they were registering for the card, I was down with surgery.
Oh.
And so I couldn't do it. No, they said, according to Mr. Attafuah, or Professor Attafuah, he's saying that we can pay and then they'll come to the house and then We have it done. So how much are we paying?
Okay, we'll get you an answer to that question as well. Juliana is in Medina. Hi, Juliana.
Hi, Kojo. Good morning.
Good morning to you. We're getting lots of lady callers today. That's wonderful.
Okay, so please, I want to ask. I did my Ghana card, and on that small white sheet, I think when you're done with the registration, they'll give it to you so that maybe you go and come back for the card. With mine, they wrote rejected on it, but the man told me to go and come. I've been going and coming for like 3 months. Later, I heard that they are at where they registered at. So I went there and they checked the register, and they said my name is not inside, so maybe my name is not on the system. But I registered, so I don't know how come mine is not coming. I did it with my auntie, my brother, everybody. But for me, they said my card is rejected, so I want to know why.
Okay, we'll get you an answer. Bato is our next stop. Hi, Kekeli.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Kekeli. How are you?
Please, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. Good to hear from you, my brother.
Good to hear from you too.
So, Kekeli, today we are talking Ghana card. What's on your mind?
Yes, in fact, I am disappointed in because I registered for this last year when the thing came to Bato, which is July around 19th. And I registered for this. I did not receive my card. Meanwhile, I'm a visual impaired. So going around, I called the office severally, but they keep giving me reasons that I'm not okay with. I don't know why it's happening that way. So please, if you can give us a clarity, the cause of we not getting our card, if you can give us the clarity of that, because me going around looking for guarantors to come and to be my guarantor. In fact, in this time of COVID-19, meanwhile my condition is also not like other people. In fact, it's disturbing.
I get you, Kekeli. Thank you so much. Prof is running out of notepad, so we'll take one more call and then we'll give Prof the chance to answer all your questions. So let's speak to Kobe in Tema. Kobe, what's then?
Kakaka, very lucky, very lucky. I am the last caller.
Absolutely, right? You slipped in there. All right. So, what's your question?
Look, is Professor Attafuah, all due respect to me, is he aware that this registration actually hinges on the work that he's doing?
If you can repeat that, is Prof aware that the registration hinges on what?
On the work that, because it actually hinges on the Ghana card. Look, only few people can get a passport. Look,
okay.
Hold on. When you took over the office, all I hear is talk. There are millions of cards that have not been distributed, and the man is still talking. Today, there are many people who need the card to go and do the registration, and this man will talk. Look, give 3 months, and this man will still be giving excuses. What happened?
He will answer your questions today. Thank you so much, Kobe, from Tema, for calling us. And I guess we have a nice bunch of questions there for Prof. I've been getting some text messages. A few of them are sort of repetitions of the questions we've heard already. For example, Jeff says, good morning, my dad's last name was spelled wrong on his Ghana card. Kindly ask Prof if my dad will have a challenge registering for the voter ID, and will his last name be corrected on the voter ID. Fred says, please, how do I apply for a replacement for my card? I lost mine last year. And a bunch of these are pretty much repetitions of the questions we have heard on the phone line. There was the other person asking why he has to pay 250 Ghana cedis for the premium registration when he has had to drive to your center. Prof, there's a lot there.
Yes, there is. Thank you very much. And Kojo, let me thank most sincerely all the people who have called in and raised a question. First, the lady who called from the Ghana International School. I must apologize to her on 2 levels. Number one, that my staff was impatient to her when the staff called her. I think the key point is that an attempt was made to reach her. I am sorry that the officer who reached her did not conduct himself in a manner that was acceptable, and I apologize to her. Second, I did not intend to call her or anybody irresponsible in the context in which I was speaking, and definitely not in a situation like hers. What I was repudiating is the situation of persons who did not go to the registration center to even check with a card for their cards, and have rushed to the NIA head office after the card issuance expedited exercise is over. That, I think, is most inappropriate, and that's what I was speaking to. But in her case, she had been invited by us, even though not in the most appropriate manner. She had been invited. She was entitled to be there to make the inquiry to get her card, and I apologize for that, but I'm not calling her irresponsible at all. And I would like to know, when we are off air, whether her situation was resolved, and see what can be done about that. The second person, La Paz, Amy, we missed her. Number 3, the gentleman who is asking why the premium registration is so expensive when he has to drive there. Well, I'm sorry, sir, it's a choice. First of all, there are 3 levels of service that I discussed, and you are at liberty to make a choice. The first is what we are doing, which is the mass registration exercise. You are at liberty to take advantage of that. When the exercise is over, I mean, now that the exercise is over in Greater Accra, we will come back to Greater Accra to do a mop-up. At that stage, you are at liberty to go and get registered, and it's for free.
When will that be?
When I'll come to that, because somebody has asked. Then when the entire mop-up for the nation is over, there is also the opportunity, we are also going to set up permanent regional and district offices, where everyone who wants to register can go at their comfort and leisure to go and get registered, a permanent office. So that is there. But the premium center and the institutional registration is at your request. You request, the institutional registration, you request us to come and register you. The law, Parliament has passed a Fees and Charges Act that regulate these things. It is Parliament that determined that was an appropriate fee to charge. So 100 Ghana cedis per person when we come to your institution or home. And if it's a premium registration, it means that we are setting it up at a facility, air-conditioned, comfort, some coffee or tea or meal or whatever it is. Or what the environment is like that. You pay for it. And this is being pursued, this whole NIA project is being pursued through a public-private partnership arrangement. So a private partner is putting in funds, and government is putting in funds, and there has to be a mode of getting revenue to support this enterprise, which is over a 15-year period.
So that question was from my friend. He doesn't like paying for things.
Right. Then the gentleman who registered in Oyarifa in December 2018, his card, the record shows the card is printed, but the card is not there. Oyarifa, we were doing community testing. We were doing a testing of our system. So Lankwantana, Medina, Oyarifa, all of that. And so that situation, I cannot speak to it. If we have his date of birth and his correct name, we can find out what was the matter.
So who can he call with that information?
I don't want to. You take.
I'll take that information and give it to everybody.
Then Alberta Ningo, male instead of female, written on the name. It's part of what I said, and somebody will may take offense. When you go through the exercise, because we are humans and can make mistakes, we print a slip for you. Then we ask you to cross-check every detail on it. A police associate of mine, a macho guy, he said female, meanwhile he signed. If you sign and thumbprint, it means you've okayed it for us to print. Once that happens, we cannot take responsibility for the error on it, and therefore that is he can get a replacement, but you have to pay for it. So, misspelling of names of a daughter and is the same category.
Same thing. Okay.
You look at it. Mr. Awuku want to know when we are coming to Greater Accra. We are in Greater Accra from the 16th of August to the 29th of August. 16th to 29th of August. Okay. Now, let me hurry to say that we are going to quickly set up offices in Greater Accra, in Bono East, Attafuah, and Ashanti region. These are places where EC may be done before we get there, so that people can take advantage of that. Then another question is, how is Ghana Card today different from Ghana Card of 2008 when President Kufuor was in office? The Ghana Card today is phenomenally different. This is a smart card. It's a dual interface, multi-purpose functional card with 14 loadable applets. The chip on the Ghana Card today is 148 kilobytes compared to the 2 kilobyte chip on your Visa or MasterCard or it's significant. And the loadable applets enable different institutions to have their database, as it were, on it, accessible by the card. Exactly. It's different. And Prof, you'll have to forgive me. I think we have a few more questions to answer, but what I'm going to suggest is that we do this on SMS Extra. So we will capture Prof Attafuah's answers to your questions and put them on our social media platforms so that you can get your answers to your question. Prof, I have 30 seconds left. Yes, please. Yeah. This gentleman who is talking, Kobe from Tema, talking about talk. I think he's completely wrong. I'm not talking, and he's wrong when he said that there are millions of cards not issued. Now, there are there are several reasons why people's cards may not be printed. They give false information, they give contradictory information, their data was not captured properly, so it's set aside in a queue, it is investigated and all of that. And there is not one day NIA has been late. We have not delayed this exercise one single day. We've been working as resources are made available and other partners cooperate, and I don't mean the private partner, but those who must assist us in delivering. We are delivering and we are doing tremendously well. That is why we have succeeded tremendously, especially since our technical capacity was improved. We've registered over 5 million people in less than 3 months between January and March. And Prof Attafuah has answers to all your questions on SMS Extra. It'll be on all our social media platforms. Look out for that. Prof, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for the time you spent with us. We wish we had more with you, and no doubt we will have you back as soon as we can. Indeed. Now, our friends from the Ghanaian German Center for Jobs, Migration and Reintegration are going to wrap things up for us on the show because they've got a rather special event coming up. It's called the Ghana Virtual